God is spirit, and those who worship God must worship in spirit and in truth. Good morning. Welcome to this morning's worship service.
Loving God, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, for you are our strength and our Redeemer. The Isaiah reading today points us in this direction of what we call in Hebrew shalom. And it is a word that is critically important for all of us to think about. Shalom, on the surface, means peace. And it can be a way of greeting someone, shalom, hello, peace be with you. It can be a way of departing or saying goodbye to someone, shalom, peace be with you while we are apart. But shalom has a meaning that is much deeper, much broader, much more significant for us as a people. Today, as we read from Isaiah, we are encountering this remarkable prophecy about the gift of a presence from Jesse's family. Jesse is the shepherd father of David, who became one of the great kings of Israel and began this line of Davidic kings. And then, of course, in the great diaspora, in the dispersion of the Jewish people into Babylon, Assyria, and other nations who conquered them, this line was lost. But Jesus is of the house of David, Jesse's family. And so the reading today speaks of the gifts that will be brought into the world by this presence, by Jesus' teaching. And it's fascinating to me that as we read the scripture, there are characteristics that speak deeply about his nature. His delight shall be in the fear of the Lord. Verse 3. I often translate that word fear in the respect of, in the love of the Lord. It's perfectly okay to translate it that way. He shall not judge by what the eyes see or the ears hear, but with a right relationship with God, he shall respond to the poor, the meek, the lost, those who find themselves alone in the world. Shalom, in the core of its meaning, and that's important for us as a Christian family to constantly remember, speaks of a certain compassion, a certain ability to understand the other person's challenges, situation, or despair. And we are living in a time, it seems to me, and in a world where there is a lot of upheaval that's going on in families, in communities, in the economy. Certainly, there is worry. There is concern. There is stress. There is anger. I cannot turn on a news broadcast on CNN or Fox News or most any other channel without there being some sort of two teams of talking heads who are debating each other, talking over each other, arguing with each other. There is in the society this angst, this anger. And it seems like the only way you express yourself is to do it with some sort of vigorous, angry confrontation. And that is the polar opposite of what shalom means. Shalom is calling out of us a respect for each other, a desire to understand each other's dilemmas, problems, places of worry. It's a desire to relate. Shalom is a desire to be in a relationship. And it seems like we are living in a time, a culture, a place where we are supposed to be confrontational in order to get anything done. And we all know the result of confrontation. Nothing happens. We go on a little bit in this passage. Righteousness, these are the characteristics of Jesus' teaching, and therefore of what we are asked to be as disciples, shall be the belt around his waist, and faithfulness the belt around his loins. Righteousness, a right relationship with God, a striving for a right relationship with God. The way we dress ourselves, the way we get dressed for living our lives, needs to have in it this component of putting on the clothing of yearning for a right relationship with God and being faithful. And it goes on to speak of his words, the rod of his mouth and the breath of his lips shall be used to kill the wicked. The words, the wisdom he teaches, shall strike down evil thoughts, evil ways, all those things that undermine the goodness of the world in which we live. The elimination of what is hurtful and of what tears at people's lives. Shalom, the word, the concept also deals with how we respond to the health, psychological, physical, mental, emotional health of our families, those we love, of the people we relate to, and of the settings where we work. And I guess that leads us to this question. When you or I walk into a room, what do we bring into that room? By our very presence, by our nature, our demeanor, by what we say. How does the room change as a result of our being in it? How does the situation change as a result of our participating